enjoy the movie.
Okay. Sorry, I was just recording. Please continue.
So, definitely to be able to see the creator's passion within the movie, to be able to see what personally touches that person. Otherwise, why would they be making a movie about it?
Thank you, Kirsten. We need more of thing. I would suggest, at least all three of you, can you type these answers? Maybe for the last one you can leave because it's like a sentence. Can you type the answers in one word? The name, first and last question you can leave. Second, adjective that you choose, adjective that others choose on you, and your favorite animal and the favorite color. And I urge you to make a note of what others write also. It is not only what you write, just make a note so that we need not what you say, wonder what others, just if you could, fill in the chat box with that. Second, third, fourth, fifth question. Reason you need not write why this favorite animal, just write which animal. That's it. Or you can put it in the book. Otherwise, you can put it in the book and share it in the WhatsApp group also. Maybe we can take a screenshot of these questions so that we can move further. Okay, Kirsten, I would suggest you. I'll do it for you probably. Okay, I'll just copy paste this one and put it in the WhatsApp group, which I feel like important, which is very important in our learning process in future. Simply just put it in this one. Okay, others also can follow suit. And all of you must carry an Enneagram book, as I told you. As an essential principle of this class, you should carry an Enneagram notebook. There should be a pen, all these things you should be having. So other two, Leena Chechi and Sajjana Chechi, both of you can, make a record of this thing and put it in the group. Right, in the interest of time, I'm just moving. Now, okay, thank you. One more has written, it seems. Okay, force, green, sincere and hardworking. Let me just see. Sincere and hardworking comes where? Sincere for what? Favorite color? Okay, sincere by yourself and hardworking by others. Okay, perfect. So I would urge you to make a note of that thing in the notebook and in the chat box also, because everyone can see you, identify you with these adjectives. Because we tag people, whomever if you happen to see a person just now, you'll make a tag about that person. You'll make a adjective about that person. Adjective, we live on adjectives simply. So we'll just make, okay, good person, bad person, ugly person, beautiful person, tall or short, fair or unfair, whatever. We will tag, immediately we tag a word, an adjective on that person, which makes, that's how we understand people. Unfortunately, that's how we understand people, things, situations, experiences. So experiences, even before we experience any experience, we'll tag this. So it is understanding what others is again a experience of how we understand others. We need to know how we know others. Am I making it clear or complicated?
Clear as day.
We need to know how our knowledge, how the process of we knowing others. We need to know about that. For that, we need to know what others are. That's the beauty of Enneagram. Enneagram, we choose to learn ourselves through ourselves and others. And again, regarding the approach coming to Enneagram, it's like this is common for all ladies, of course. Onion, I'm sure in South Africa also, onion is something which is indispensable in your meals, if I'm not wrong, isn't it? India,
absolutely.
I can
Onions are staples.
Yeah. So onion is a cultural metaphor, as you might have all learned. I've just bought you a poem because we have English teachers here, so I just thought of bringing it here. Anyways, let's not get into that poem. One thing important with this onion is a cultural metaphor. How a society is, how a person is, how a particular organization or institution is. All these are bound to have certain cultures. There are culture is seen in layers. Culture which encapsulates the essence in layers. So the way we understand Enneagram, the way we make representations of Enneagram, and the way we learn Enneagram, all these are very much signified by an onion. How an onion, how we peel off an onion in the kitchen. When you peel off the onion, actually it is a cultural layer. It can be the social layer. It can be the religious layer. It can be the linguistic layer. It can be the, what do you say, ethnic layer. India being a multi-ethnic country, ethnic layer is important. So there are different layers which encapsulates, entangles our essence, which is nothing but the being. And this is how the Enneagram as a metaphor also, this is how I see Enneagram as a metaphor, which is like a very entangled, complex structure, which you have to, unwind and learn. That's why I just brought this metaphor to you. So the language we use to learn Enneagram will be a bit different than probably other courses like NLP or TA. It may not be a very direct language. We use a lot of metaphors because when I facilitate Enneagram, I choose to do so because for me, Enneagram itself is a great metaphor. It's like a code, which you might have seen probably in movies like Mummy. Like you have got a code, you have to find out the treasure with that code. So this is that code. We are in our treasure hunt, in our journey for the treasure. This will be a guiding map. This will be a lighthouse. This will be a blueprint. This will be a GPS. This will be a compass. So I think you are clear with the approach we follow. I mean, in the long run, not just for the level 1 course. Once we choose to learn Enneagram, this is the approach we can follow. This is not we can follow. There would be a number of approaches. Okay, now I have few questions, which again it was asked in that previous one. If anyone would like to, Lena Chichi, what would it be when we suddenly become aware that we did not really know the people we thought we knew? So suppose you might have had a friend, you thought that you know him or her to the core, but then at some point of time, you might have experienced that this person is acting very weird, which you couldn't, take it. Have you had such an experience ever in your life?
Yes, sir. Sometimes when we thought that we know a particular person very well, and later there are some proof, we have some experience that we really don't know anything about this person.
You recognize that
We
moment.
cannot identify which kind of person this is and how to deal this kind of nature. That is confusion only. It will create a confusion.
Okay. So same, how would it be when we suddenly realize that we did not know ourselves? Have you had such an experience? So you thought that you know about yourself everything. So I'll be behaving like this, I'll be like this. But at some point of time, you couldn't control yourself and you just, carried away and you behaved in a way which you never can digest that I did it. Did I do it? Have you ever had such an experience?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Asking about yourself.
Especially as we grow old.
Yes, Kirsten,
Definitely.
Yes, you had such an experience.
Oh, plenty, plenty. Especially, for me, for an example, as you mature in life, as you go through, if I look at myself when I was in my 20s, I was fearless. I felt I was untouchable, almost, to a point where you kind of, now in your 30s, you realize, hey, you were actually quite, like, what were you thinking? What on earth were you thinking,
I
girl?
couldn't get what you?
You ask yourself, like, what are you thinking, or what were you thinking? How could you have done that, or
Yes.
how could you have thought in
That's
that
where
way?
I need to get just one more thing. Both of you, this question is to Leena Chichi also. In both these cases, when you were, this is a moment where it was surely a shock for you, that you thought that you knew and it was wrong, whether it is about yourself or others. What was the exact feeling? I'm not asking about the thinking. What was the exact feeling which popped up then?
Disappointment.
Disappointment as in how the disappointment came, how you recognize that it is disappointment, how others would recognize it as a disappointment.
Right. It's you feel very much, or you feel disappointed in yourself for why, for behaving in particular ways, for taking particular actions, for making particular choices. Although obviously at that time in your life, you're young, you're immature, you don't know pretty much, you don't know anything. But luckily for me, these realizations came to me at an awakening period of my life.
Okay.
Where I didn't feel very serious judgment, because I'd already started learning about self-love and realized that I had to forgive myself, for I did not know better.
Okay. So yes, Anna, you have elaborated about this. Okay. Anyways, we are just getting into that particular moment. What did you feel, Leena Chichi? What did you feel when you had such an experience where this person, so and so person?
Yes,
Not the one
sometimes
which I thought.
when I was in confusion how to deal a particular situation, and
So
I didn't
what
know,
was your immediate kind of, what you say, I wouldn't say
wonder,
reaction. What was the immediate feeling that popped up?
wonder,
Wonder.
because sometimes, yes, sometimes unexpectedly my words and my response will that
So
wonders me sometimes.
that wonder is again it could be a positive feeling. Did you feel positive, or like wonder
Yes,
means?
positive, maximum positive. Otherwise,
Like
nowadays I
what
control
I'm
my
saying, that
words.
a situation where someone behaves very odd than you expected, because that is a situation, that's a moment where you are proven to be wrong, that you couldn't understand this person whom you know for a long time. So were
That
you really
time I
positive
feel
then? Were
confusion,
you
sir.
really feeling positive then?
No, that time if I thought that one person I know very well and behaving in a different way, that time I am in confusion. But about myself, sometimes I feel that I know myself and I know how to behave in such a situation, but
Okay.
I am always in confusion how to deal. But
Okay.
that time, unexpectedly, my words will be perfect. Some
Okay.
situation,
Okay.
myself,
Okay.
beyond my understanding, that moment gave me wonder.
Okay. Wonder. Okay, wonder. And if it is the other, it is like a, I mean, I forgot the
Confusion.
word. If it is regarding the other, you will feel confused. Confusion.
Myself wonder.
Thank you. Sajana Chichi, what is your, have you had any such experience at any point of time in your life where you thought that this person I know very well, but at this point of time, immediately he or she behaves in a way that I can't even predict. I never thought it is him or her, which might have happened in your case also. Yeah.
I had a few.
Yes.
At that time, I was totally disappointed.
Okay. You had a disappointment. Okay. In both the cases, if it happened, if at all it happened to you yourself at any point of time.
For me, it was in a positive way.
For you?
I
mean, it's the voice is a little feeble, it seems. I cannot completely. I mean, did it happen with you yourself? Oh, okay, I'm not able to hear you. I think you're muted. I mean, unmute. You need to unmute yourself. Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Please tell me.
In some situation, what can I say?
Yes.
I came out of my shell and responded in a very.
I mean, that happened immediately after that. You might have taken some time for that. You came out of the shell. I'm not asking about the learning of this one. I'm asking about this is actually a stimulus. These two things are stimulus. What was your response? What was the emotional pop up? What emotions popped up or what feelings popped up at that point of time is what?
About myself?
About yourself.
I could understand that I am not the person what I thought to.
That is your understanding. But what feeling? I mean, I'm asking from the affective domain, from the feeling part. What was your reflection in the heart? Provided heart is the seat of all your feelings. What feeling exactly?
I felt confident.
You felt really confident that you are. It was a very shocking situation. Did you really feel confident? Like I am behaving because I'm out of my control. If you have had such an experience, I would have behaved normally in so and so way, but I couldn't do so. Something happened and behaved in a very weird manner. So it was a different I which I never understood that I is there in me. Have you had such an experience?
I thought I was an introvert and I can't speak anything to anyone.
Oh, you might have dumbfounded. Okay, it's yeah, that's quite possible. I think Nihala has joined us. Welcome, Nihala. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah, we have just started only. We have I mean, few questions, few intro questions. We are just following the intro video only. It's like
Okay.
the same thing, so that you can just get clarified. It's not about knowing the things and all. We need to know the crux of this.
Okay.
Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, now we have seen two different scenarios. Understanding myself as I haven't been or as I am, or understanding the other. Are these two sides of the same coin is a question which I want you to ask, which I don't want you to immediately answer it. You can probably ponder over this question. Are we, I mean, me and the other, significant other, are these two the same sides of the coin? Is the other my shadow? Is the other my mirror image? Am I the mirror image of the other? Am I the shadow of the other? Are we the same? Are we the two sides of the same coin or two pages in a same book? So we need to probably think of that. So Enneagram, as I said, it is a very complex metaphor according to me. Now we'll just get into what is Enneagram, which is already, you might have this part. I may not, I need not, explain it too much. What are the components of Enneagram? What is there in Enneagram? What is the structure? This is the structural Enneagram. This is how it looks. I mean, there's an outer circle. Circle is again, since when? Circle has been a representation of the perfection of the whole. which symbolizes unity, completeness. And there is an inner triangle you can just see through this. That inner triangle is nothing but, it represents something called the law of three. And this law of three was coined by George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. I don't know how many of you might have heard of Gurdjieff. He's an Armenian mystic. He's popularly known as a person who brought East to the West. And Gurdjieff is the person who, the modern Enneagram, actually, Enneagram was used in the modern era. I mean, it is modern era, meaning now it is 100 years back. Gurdjieff was using it to, for the evolution of his disciples, or for his, crew, or for his group. And he is popularly known to decode this, symbol of Enneagram. So he has identified the triangle with the law of three, which again, there are representations in almost all the religions as well. Like in Christianity, there is Holy Trinity, which is kind of connected with this three, law of three. In Hinduism, there is another Trinity, which is again connected with these three. And not only in the religious sphere, if we see, psychological sphere also, where the concepts of shadow, or even if you take the ego, superego, everywhere, you can superimpose all these to this law of three, this triangle. So it has got a wider meaning, which we are not dwelling into now. And there is an irregular hexagon. Irregular hexagon, meaning you cannot, make out the shape. This is how it is. If we draw it, it won't be a hexagon. It will be much more than hexagon. But if we see from outer, it is a hexagon, which represents 6 points, which is again representing the law of 7, which is also identified by George Gurdjieff. And there are 9 numbers, 9 vortex, now 9 points are identified. Vertices. 1, 2, 3, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is, if those 9 numbers, if you put outside this circle, this becomes Enneagram. This is what Enneagram is. I think you have got a basic idea about the structure. The same is explained in the in my, the video shared in the pre-course introduction video also. This is the basic structure of an Enneagram. Now, function of an Enneagram, we need to learn the function of an Enneagram. I'm not getting into the history of Enneagram, which is very complex. Like it is claimed to have used since 4,500 years before. 4,500 years before, it was traced to be used by Babylonians. Today, actually, in school, we had a training where they were showing some very interesting, very coincidental. They were showing some monolithic structure where they had some carvings where there was a representation very similar to Enneagram. And that was in Babylonia also. It was a circle. So they were representing something, some events, time or something, which is very old, and it is very close to how the Enneagram looks. It was very interesting, intriguing. And it is also used to have, traced to have used. These are all just, based on assumptions, based on readings, based on, probably rumors, I would say. 2,500 years ago, Greek philosophy. So Homer is a person who has used this characterization, Enneagram characterization in his, Iliad. All the Greek gods he has identified with typology and all. But later on, the evolution of Enneagram is mostly traced. Mostly Enneagram is, in its original form, was actually transferred through one particular sect of Sufism, which is called Naqshbandi order, which is, they are popularly known as Bees Brotherhood. So through this Naqshbandi order, we call these particular clans Sarmons, Sarmoni Brotherhood or Sarmons. And there are very, very interesting things which, connect Sarmoni brotherhood with India, which, which is not available much in papers. Like India also had some traditions like Shramana. Shramana is again one very similar tradition, which can also be traced with. So Enneagram is pseudoscience which has been practiced across the world, in different part of the world, in different forms, or probably in different names. But interestingly, there was some sort of oneness. There was some sort of a commonality, which is again, identified in the Jewish tradition of Kabbalah, which, speaks about the tree of life, that nine-foldedness of the tree of the life. That picture I don't have here. You might have seen many popularly. But later on, much later, in 500 BC, I would say, or probably 500 to say 600 BC. I don't exactly, I cannot. Okay, it's given here, 580 to 500 BC. Pythagoras and his followers were the first one. So you all should go to our WhatsApp, what do you call that, group. I've just deliberately put the, DP of an Enneagram version by Pythagoras. Pythagoras is the one who actually had a similar version of Enneagram, which looks pretty much like the Enneagram structure, which is called a tetractys, which has had huge influence on the development, history, and evolution of mathematics, especially numerics. And his followers, Pythagoras, as we see, has taken it far and wide to the, to the sphere of science and mysticism. So Arabic scholars who were actually the direct descendants of Pythagoras has brought this unusual, that we will study maybe in higher levels of Enneagram, how the divisibility of 1 by 3, 7, and 9, how this idea of Enneagram can be traced numerically. For us, number is for measure. I remember Kirsten saying measure when she's heard the word Enneagram. But it is much beyond. That is, Enneagram psychology might be measuring something, but when it comes to Enneagram philosophy, or the Enneagram which has been practiced for so long, the metaphysical version of Enneagram, there numbers are like representations. Numbers are nothing but metaphors. Numbers are meanings, decoded or encoded, I would say. We have to decode the meaning. So this decoding was probably far and wide. This decoding was known to be done by George Ivanovich Gurdjieff, and it was popularized by his disciple, P.D. Ouspensky. Those books are available. I'll share with you if I happen to get I have Kindle versions. If I happen to get any PDF, I'll share with you here. So those books, those who would like to take Enneagram much more seriously, you should read those books. But those are not very easy reads. Of course, it looks easy to read. This language is simple, but then those are too deep. So modern Enneagram is, as I said, it was decoded by Gurdjieff, but he never used the word Enneagram. Whereas Oscar Icaso, the Bolivian Latin American social scientist, who was identified to be the founder of modern Enneagram, who has discovered modern Enneagram, who brought it to the world in its present form. And it was much more, developed later on by his direct disciple, Claudio Naranjo, who is from Chile. So he is actually, he's one of the, I would say, one of the legends who is alive now. He is the one who made, much deeper and intricate interpretations of this structure, Enneagram structure. And he took it much beyond that. He connected it with, many other psychological stuff. Like, he was a Okay. The names are. Nihala, I'll share this. I've already shared this video, and I'll share this PPT also, so that you can make a note of that. Those things you need not worry about to make notes. Is that fine, Nihala?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. And no worries, once we finish our first, level, now these names, I would try to, share some of the books. I mean, I don't know whether I've got the founders' books, but at least later on, some of the authentic books in Enneagram, I'll share with you the PDF. So these are all
Okay,
something
sure.
you can get, from internet. It's not a big deal. No worries regarding this. Okay. And this
Okay,
Claudio
thank
Naranjo,
you.
he's also a very well-known gestalt therapist who worked with the founder, Fritz Perls. So he has, added a lot of interpretations, and he has developed it much further, which was taken, by his, the ones who worked with him. Almas is actually he's as good as a Sufi. You should read his books. He's actually an Eastern guy, though he's an American citizen. He's originally from Oman. So Almas is a person who has connected, who has actually taken the spiritual essence of this Enneagram later on. Same with Sandra Maitri. Sandra Maitri is also a disciple of Claudio Naranjo, and they were disciples of each other as well, like Almas and Sandra Maitri. They all developed this, this brought the, deeper understanding of Enneagram to the public through their books. Some of the books are available, and those who want a soft copy of this thing, whatever available, I'll share, and it is available in the Amazon Kindle. If you buy it in the, Kindle version, it won't be very expensive also. But generally, if we choose to buy it as books, it must be expensive. And it depends. I don't know. It depends on the nation. It depends on the. Sorry, I think once again I just lost the connection. Sorry. The connection. Actually, the connection is troubling a little bit. Sorry. So let's get into the function of Enneagram. That is what we have to study. We want to study in level 1. What is functional Enneagram? Why Enneagram? Why should we learn this science? That's what you are all here. We don't want to know what is it and why is it, all these things, history, all these things. You may not be really interested. It's a social, it is an instrument for social change also, but not only personal change. Because it is for the humanity. It's not just for personal evolution. If you change, the world will change, is what our popular belief is. Keeping that in mind, we can say it is a social change instrument as well. So there are 9 personality types or structures identified by Enneagram, and they have very complex interrelationship between each other. Origins of many of our, now coming to this one, something which is very much you need to understand. I don't know whether, I'll discuss that later. Okay, it will be too much if we discuss now. See, we have right from our childhood. Any of you have learned transactional analysis here? Anybody? By any chance, you know something about transactional analysis? PA. Okay, perfect. If you don't know, it's okay. And then I could connect a little more with that, so that you can make better meaning if you learned. Otherwise, leave it. It's not a big deal. So we are nothing but we are a sum total of how much ever kilo we are, what this mass is, what our thoughts are, what our emotions are, what our intuitions are, more importantly. And we are a makeup of all this. We are a biryani of different ingredients of which you can see, like all this biryani. Again, I don't know, Kirsten may not be knowing about biryani. It's a popular Indian food. When you visit India, we'll serve you that. Okay.
I'll look forward to it, Ajit. Thank you.
You don't know.
I'll be there soon, one day, don't worry.
You come to India once, you must be there. Yes.
Then I probably won't leave. I go there once, I don't go, I'd stay.
Okay. Yes, NLP, of course, NLP is also, we can find subtle connections with NLP. Actually, the foundation of all these, if we trace, foundation of all these can be, kind of what you say, the roots are all intertwined with Enneagram. I won't say Enneagram is the mother of all this. Please don't mistake. There are subtle connections, is what I said. Like what you study, the Jungian philosophy of shadow, or what you study, Freud's philosophy of psychoanalysis, or Carl Rogers, what you say, that humanist psychology, Carl Rogers, or even Abraham Maslow, or even it is like, I would dare to say this thing. I have no proof, or I cannot prove it, and I don't have the good knowledge to what you say. Just bring it. Even the changes in literary theory, like probably, I don't know, Kirsten, it might have the latest, postmodern theories could even be, traced with Enneagram. Many of the linguistic theories. That way, NLP is also very much, very much connected to Enneagram. How it is, when I'm not making any statement whether it is a brother or cousin or whatever. Okay, shows the origins of many of our impulses, from where it comes, from where many of our behaviors. Earlier we saw, we think we know ourselves, but at times we experience that there is an I in me which I don't know. That pops out when the time comes. From where it comes, from whom it is. I mean, if we take yourself, if we take ourselves, we are all completely unoriginal. We are all 99.99% borrowed. We are not unique. So it may sound a little negative. Like NLP or any positive psychology, we cannot deal with Enneagram. Its basic assumption, the Enneagram typology itself happened because of, in Christian language, you would say, because of the sin, cardinal sins, which, the Christianity says, which is not positive, of course, which is almost similar in Hindu, this thing also. It says like, because of some sort of karma, we have to, have this body, which is again cause and effect in modern psychology. It has got different versions. So whatever it is, some imperfection which causes types. We are not perfect. We are not complete. That incompleteness, imperfectness, that makes us learn Enneagram. That is the formation of Enneagram types. That is behind the formation of Enneagram types. This hollowness. Hope you are able to follow. Is it clear?
Loud and clear, loud and clear. It's very interesting, Ajit. I must say that I really enjoy that you're linking everything to everyone's cultures. And I have to say that,
how much ever
well,
possible.
for me, I beg your pardon?
Yeah, how much ever possible, I tried that. I mean, there's much more I could, if I'm learned, I'm with my limited this thing, how much ever possible I've done on that integration. I mean, because
but you do a phenomenal job.
Traditions. It was developed through different traditions. If we say Enneagram, which spiritual tradition or which mystery school doesn't use Enneagram? I can dare to ask you. There is no mystery school which might not have used Enneagram, may not be in its form, the present form, it may be in different form. That versatile it is. Such a versatile tool, or such a versatile framework. Tool is again a very limited word. Such a versatile, what is a framework or a metaphor or what is a, or a code. I don't know. I'm not getting the exact word to, describe it. So coming to functional Enneagram, how people conceptualize the world. So each of us carry a world on our head. Between the ears, upon our neck, we carry the whole world. How we carry it. We carry ourselves, we carry others. How we do it. How they manage their emotions and how they manage their intuition. Intuition is actually the basic instinct. That's a basic, that's a foundation of any being, I would say. Human being, as Plato says, calls human being a social animal. Same thing Gurdjieff also says, human being is a machine with no manual, which we probably discussed in the NLP class, with no manual. But the machine word we didn't use. The machine is Gurjeef is the first one to say, dare to say, human being. There are no human beings who are conscious. They are all machines, just machines, acting on the command of something, someone outside. Human being is unconscious. Human being is asleep. When you are awake, you are asleep. When you go for sleep, you start waking up. That's what he says.
And some stay asleep, unfortunately. Not everyone wakes up.
Yeah, because nothing but our unconscious is our real consciousness. Our real consciousness lies in our unconscious. It is not the conscious self that we think we are, but the unconscious self which we can never ever explore completely is where our consciousness lies. So it's a hidden consciousness. It is like what we saw in the movie The Matrix. We are all plugged in that consciousness. So we study personality types, this version of Enneagram in the first level. Personality, the word itself derived from the word persona, which means a mask. Persona is a mask. And now what is the meaning of mask? Please forget about the COVID. COVID has redefined the word mask. If not COVID, pre-COVID session, suppose the class is happening before COVID, what would you speak about mask? What is a mask? The word itself is very vocal. What is a mask?
Well, it's showing, it's something, it's a, say, a persona that you are portraying, that which you want others to see, not necessarily that's true to yourself, but that which you want others to see and what you want others to believe.
Yeah, true. Very
is true.
True. Mask. And again, mask is not only a noun. This is mask is something which we want others to see, which we want ours to show up, which we want to make us believe. Mask comes from the role or the function. That's why we study function, Enneagram, functional Enneagram now. Now, mask as a verb means what? Mask. You're masking something. So what you're masking? What you're masking, simply your shadow, you're masking. Something which you don't show. You don't want to show, you're masking. Interestingly, something which you don't want to show is something which the world doesn't want you to show also. We can't imagine tomorrow all of us, discarding this concept of wearing clothes, because we have been masking almost 75% of our body we are masking. 99.999% of our mind is masked. 100% of our soul is masked. So where are we? What are we? So probably
maybe that which we're ashamed of.
Yeah, probably I would say
that which we don't want people to see.
We are not our personality. What we mask is what we are shown up. We are not that. Then who are we? Like there is a popular, I take pardon from you, Kirsten, because all others are from Kerala, specifically southern India. So we all know a very popular art form from Kerala, Kathakali. So Kathakali is where they wear a mask. And this mask, the whole mask represents a character. Generally, this is a character from any epic. They will take a small portion of the epic and they demonstrate it in the form of Kathakali. It's an art form which integrates all other art forms, like music is there, dance is there, drama is there. All this, it's an integrated art form. Then they wear a mask. So it's so deeply, it's this mask, when they prepare it, it's so deeply done that you cannot easily remove it. In olden days, probably olden theaters, there are one man, theater where, one man wears different masks. he is he is the character, he is the villain, he is the hero. All these are done by one only. So he has to change the mask. Once he changes the mask, he's changing the role. That's what we are doing in our everyday life, probably, as Shakespeare rightly pointed out, the world is a theater and we are all actors of that in that theater or something. You know what? English teachers can correct me if I've just...
All the world is the stage.
Yeah, how is it?
Shakespeare. All the world is the stage.
And we did he explicitly say say that we are all actors?
Yes.
Okay. And that acting, that role or that act is what this personality is. What is your role? What is your action? What is your activity? What is how you act is what your personality is. That is not you. That is your personality. That is the mask that you wear. Mask means that is something which you polish. That is something which you don't really want to show up. That is something which you wear, which is a veil, which you don't want to show yourself. This is how I want to be shown up. That's what you are determined to. That's what personality type is. So first, I've just given this once and again, and always I say this thing, because when we learn Enneagram, please don't have a misconception that many people, including me too, in the start when I started learning Enneagram, it's all about understanding our personality types. It's such a foolish thing. What is the point of understanding our personality types? If I am working in an organization, of course, I need to understand my role in the organization. But for my personal growth, what that role does is feeble. Personal growth meaning beyond the scope of this time and space, beyond the scope of this body, mind, intellect. There's a higher purpose, which is the reason for our existence, which is nothing but the underlying consciousness. There, these roles doesn't matter. Like, there's a Chinese proverb which says, which means, after the chess game is over, whether it is, queen or what do you say, king or whoever, they all, pawn or whoever, rook, they all go to one box. So actually the personality has a potential and kinetic energy. The personality has a value in a particular space-time coordinate, in a particular place, on a particular time. That personality has a validity. I'm an Enneagram facilitator here, sitting here, facilitating you. I'm wearing a personality of a facilitator, acting as if I am the master of Enneagram. I know everything about Enneagram, and you are sitting as if you are wearing the clothes of learners, as if you don't know anything about Enneagram. Both of us are unreal, absolutely unreal. That's the idea of learning Enneagram. That reality, we learn the reality through understanding what is unreal. Is it going over the head? Is it simple? Or, I just want to listen from you, maybe a small reflection, if you could. Anyone would like to just speak out? It's a deep silence. Silence has shades of meaning.
You have us in deep thought, Ajit.
Yes, yes.
Giving us lots to think about.
I couldn't get, can you, sorry?
No problem. I said you're giving us a lot to think about.
Okay. In a stage of introspection, I can understand. But it's all about thinking, how we think, how we go deep into this idea of Enneagram. That's how only we can learn this one. It's not a thing which can be learned simply by what you say, doing a test, Enneagram test, and simply understanding what it. So it's, of course, we learn it in that way. So just let's get into the other part of this one. This I'll share your video, this part, what I'm going to discuss, personality and essence. This taken by actually Ellie Jackson Bear is an Enneagram specialist and an author. She has written a book which is really profound. I have a hard copy of it. I don't have the soft copy. Interestingly, that book, that traces that connects Enneagram with India. That's something which is personal for me. There is a big mystic in India. There was called Ramana Maharshi. Even Kirsten, you might have heard of Ramana Maharshi, one great mystic from India. Actually, this Jackson Bear is a disciple of his disciple. So how this in Tamil, he's actually basically a Tamil. So in Tamil and English also it is they are available. Who am I? He has given a short speech. So if we see this one, who am I? Am I my personality? Which is the outer cover of the onion. Personality. Personality has 10 layers, different layers, hundreds of layers, within which there is character fixation, which is the causal factor of personality. What causes personality? Like we say, habits are the causes of character. Repetitive actions make habits. And thoughts, repetitive thoughts make actions or words. Likewise, this kindle, the character fixation kindles or actually solidifies our person as our personality. So from where this character fixation comes, human being is a very centric being. Of course, we can see there are many atheists who say that there is no God. I mean, with all respect, they are also centered on the non-existence of God. They are also centric thinkers. It's not like they have revolutionized themselves out of this, what is a continuum. They are not revolving or rotating. Rather, they are also in that particular continuum. Because their center is nothing but the absence of God. That's why if you speak to any atheist, every time they try to prove there is no God. If they don't believe in God and if they don't care for God, why should they prove that there is no God? I mean, with respect to all those who have believe or non-belief, I'm just saying, what we completely negate or what we completely embrace, both these things are there in us. Both are our shadows. Something which we completely embrace or something which we completely negate. Both are our shadows. And Enneagram is one popular way to work with our shadows, which, no other will be responsible, because our shadow, we are the only ones responsible. So if we completely, negate something, that's a part of ourselves. There's no doubt. And if we highly embrace something, highly subscribe to some sort of thing, that is a part of us. So character fixation, how fixated we are. So that fixation comes from this centric thing. And what is the center? Where is the center? So there are different, versions which speaks about the center. So in Enneagram language, it is the essence. In probably many of the religious language, it is soul. In a psychological language, we see it as being. In certain traditions, it is identified as ultimate truth. In some Zen traditions or something, if you go deep into that thing, that is actually hollow. Because Buddha is heard to be one of the biggest atheists in the world, because what he said is ultimately there is nothing but void, a void in the center. So if we see from Sufi point of view, it's a particular star, shining star, which is at the center. It's a light
Energy.
at the center. So what is the center? That's the biggest question comes in. And center is actually completely masked. It's completely taken away. Center is completely collapsed. That's why we are separated. That's why there is a different Kirsten, there's a different Ajit, there is different Leena, there's different Nihala. Otherwise, we can't all be different. We can't all be separated. This separation is the basic idea of Enneagram. When we study Enneagram in a much higher sense, the Enneagram typology can be identified as nothing but this separation.
Which is what makes us unique, isn't it?
Yeah. Would you like to reflect? You have anything to say about these things? We are
You know, I
around.
think,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll
you know, I
conclude.
think that everything,
Yeah, please.
oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, Ajit.
Yeah, please, please.
No, I was going to say, you know, everything is very much connected.
Yes.
Everything requires a positive and a negative. And it goes the same for us. You know, if we only, we cannot only accept the positive within ourselves, we have to accept the negative within ourselves.
Okay.
And it goes like that from, you know, across cultures, whether personally, I'm definitely not an atheist, but I'm also not a religious person. I believe in a higher power and
Actually,
believe that
thank you.
Christianity, unfortunately.
Yeah, thank you for noting these things, because this is something very important. What you said, you said about positives and negative. Actually, something which we need to understand in Enneagram, when we learn most of this modern positive psychology theory, whatever it is, be it CBT, TA, or when NLP, or whichever, you know, modality we take, we tend to go into a direction of positive. I mean, these are all positive psychology where, you know, it says that it actually negates, or it actually kind of neglects. It's not negating, rather it neglects the idea of what you say, negativity. So the Enneagram is probably one science which doesn't negate, neither neglect the idea of negative. So for us, that's where the Enneagram is not very popular. Enneagram hasn't been very popular in any of the religion, though it developed through religious traditions. It was not very popular to the masses because it was actually transferred very secretly through secret societies, mainly because it is not really a positive psychology. It speaks about the man. It speaks about the existence. It speaks about the essence, which is beyond all qualities, which is, you know, which you cannot qualify. When you want to qualify something, there should be two, then only you can qualify something. Good and bad happens only if there is two. If there is a separation, then only qualification happens. Then only adjectives come. Adjectives and adverbs come when you have qualifications. Enneagram, the idea of Enneagram is to reach out to that essence which has no qualification, which has no polarity, which has no good and bad, which has no, what is a purpose and no purpose, which is much beyond the comprehension of what our intelligence is as of now. So that is what we identify as essence. So in it can be worded within different traditions using different one. So with the type, we are studying Enneagram because that is what is available with us. It is like, you know, I many times I used to wonder, like earlier in my childhood, I was actually recently this thought came to me when I was visiting a nearby temple. So I was actually taught by my grandfather Hindi. He was a Hindi teacher. So one person, one guru who has influenced throughout my life, even now, is Kabir, Sant Kabir. He's actually an Indian mystic. So Sant Kabir is a person who wrote, you know, like, so what you say, we call dohe, 2 lines, like haiku and all. He used to write, you know, a lot of very short verses, and which means quite a lot. So he had one of the verses like, Pahanu puje hari mile to me puju pahar tate ya chaki bhale Peace Khai Sansar. This is neither Hindi. It's an old form of Hindi, which means that if I pray any object, if I pray, what is it? We call that stone. If I get the God, then I will pray a mountain itself. Then I'll get a bigger God. Oh, it is better to pray that particular rock structure which is used to make which is used to make what you call that, which is used to powder all these grains in olden days, that at least it feeds us. So it was a very revolutionary during that time. I'm saying about 15th century, 16th century. So I used to visit, I never used to visit temples and all. Because what is the point in having this temple worship? It's this absolute blunder, I felt. But then when I thought Kabir himself had to use a metaphor to express this thing. One is this mountain. The other one is that particular instrument, rock instrument, which is used to powder grains. So the religion is also using a code. Maybe that code is that stone, carved on the stone. That is God. It is not the God itself, it's the code of the God. So it's kind of awakening for me for a second. This is how Enneagram works. Enneagram kind of what you say, it doesn't actually, what you call that, it doesn't, what I say, it doesn't function in a very, very linear manner. It functions in the way we think things. Now I'm free from that this thing. It's my choice whether to willingly go to temple or not. Now I'm not unevenly objective about that. Neither subjective about that. So letting us free from our beliefs, letting us free from our borrowed beliefs, letting us disconnected from the influences of ourselves and others is what the ultimate idea of Enneagram, which is not a simple thing. Do you think this is a simple thing? This type is nothing but the influence of others and ourselves on what our real self is. Impressions of others, borrowed impressions, and our own, innate preferences, kind of misshape our real shape, what we are. We getting aware of that. And that's where the Enneagram becomes very important. So learning type is not to embrace type. You learn about prison not to get imprisoned, rather to come out of your own prison. So type is our own prison. Human beings are prisoners according to Gurji Fagin. Human beings are prisoners. We are all imprisoned. We lost our key. Our masters, we don't know where they are. Who can do it for us? Now we have to take that challenge. How we come out of this prison is, that's why maybe the prison may be numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, anything. But we need to come out of that. So shall we just close today's Centers of Intelligence? I think there is too much too much of discussion today. I would request you to once again watch that old video and this video, because this is the initial understanding of Enneagram is very important. Types, we can maybe study very fast. Types, you can watch n number of YouTube videos are there. 10 people says 10, maybe slightly different things, but you can easily study. But these things we cannot study from, a normal Enneagram class or something. So watch and understand and internalize the higher purpose of Enneagram, which is very important. First 3 classes, we should give our heart and soul to that class. Then only it can be of lifetime use for us. Anything you would like to speak? I think I'll stop my words here. Between Nihala, you are just like if possible, you could just once come into the screen and speak something, because you are just a concept for us. It's an evidence of existence that you will come.
Can I come some other day? Is it fine?
Okay, even speaking is fine. Can you be a little loud?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it just feeble. Otherwise, we can hear it's a little feeble. It can be a little loud if possible.
Oh,
Okay,
wait.
perfect.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, perfect. Please.
Yeah, okay. So can I come some other time on video? Is it fine?
Perfect. Your choice. No worries. Please speak.
Yeah. Wait. Connect the audio. Okay.
So was it okay for you because you couldn't able to join on time? You just lost maybe initial few minutes, I think. 5 minutes, 10 minutes you lost, I think.
Yeah. Today also I missed the time, but then I thought of joining. It was, I think, 8:40 or something, right?
That's great, Oli. Because I was wondering whether you were able to follow it as it was, as it would have been otherwise. Like, were you able to understand things?
Yeah. I did because I do like courses which are similar to Enneagram, so I have an idea. But then I
Okay.
want to know more about the personality types and also. I have been said the Enneagram is the best thing, to decode that part of the area. So I
Okay.
thought I'll join.
Okay, Nihala. Thank you.
Yeah,
How do you feel about the class?
you're
Any
welcome.
feedback regarding this
No,
class?
it's really good. I am able to grasp the topic that you're discussing.
Yeah.
It's really good, interesting.
Any suggestion for further improvement because it's a first class now, probably. Nihala is one person whom I don't know among all others.
Oh, is it?
Keep interacting
No,
with her.
the class is really good. I don't want to change. I don't want you to change anything. It is really good.
Okay. Because all others I know personally. So to some extent, they are your feedback is more. More of information. More, it will be more informative for me. Like what makes it
Okay.
better that way.
No, I haven't actually the NLP courses and all that we attend. We don't get to speak anything from our side because that's the rule. They don't want us to break that energy thing that is going on there. So this is the first time that I'm attending like an interactive class. So
Okay.
I have no idea about yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I was under the pretext that it was less interactive. I am speaking like, like a, what do you say?
No, this is better, I think. Like, you can go on with that kind of thing and we can listen. I think this is better.
Okay. Now, before closing, I'm not asking others feedback. Surely we'll ask in the coming sessions. May I just know how many of you have finished the 25 questions? It is actually a commitment to yourself. You are here to know about yourself. You're introducing you to yourself. So have you done the 25 questions? Have all of you?
I haven't completed yet.
Okay. Please do that. Please do it
Yeah.
with utmost sincerity because this you are not doing for me at all. You are not going to share it. If you don't want to share, you don't share. If you want to share, you can share. So it should be written in your book and it should be like a conversation with yourself, with your, what you say, unconscious self, which you are otherwise want, consciously communicate. It's a conscious way of communicating with your, and whatever we write, that's the best way to communicate with ourself, our hidden self.
Yeah.
So please do this, all of you. I urge, we had Anita did it the very first day itself, but I don't know, she wasn't able to attend the class. So these sort of tasks are more important than the class. And there is one story which I have shared by Gede Mopusang. It's in the form of a video. It's in a visual form. So if you could, maybe people have different, ways of learning different. That's why I'm trying to make it different. Anyways, if you are interested in those sort of literary works and all these things, I would really want you to speak on that, what you understood after, because it's like story is a metaphor of the life. A movie is actually a projection of the life. Enneagram is a projection of infinity or our life or our spiritual essence. Likewise, this movie is something which is a representation of the reality. So we have to use a very very different means to learn Enneagram. It's not just the normal way we simply listen and make notes of all types and mug up. It's not the way to learn Enneagram. And once I start teaching you types, I won't teach you types. You will learn types rather. You will have to come up with adjectives in the group. I need more of interaction that time, at least. Because, you spare some time, spare half an hour in the WhatsApp group per day. And even if you skip the class, that half an hour is very important, because you are going to give your representation, your views. That will be filtered by everyone and compiled by everyone. And finally, we learn the type not by teaching, not by giving. Because these things you can get free, of course. You have paid a handsome amount and you've joined the course, and which is available in YouTube. If you go to YouTube, there are ample enough of explanations on different types. Trust me. So what I am adding value to those. I'm nothing if I'm not giving the real crux of Enneagram. So that part, use all your resources. But it's like a jigsaw puzzle. At least we should have the broad picture. We should have that broad paradigm in our mind whenever we learn this one. So shall we wind it up here?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you all for participating
so
and sharing your
Thank you,
views.
sir. Thank you so much.
Good night. We'll have class tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Right. Thank you.
Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Same too.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Night.